Hello gamers, welcome back to Idiosin's Let's Play of Assassin's Creed Origins, part 97. 97. It's a mercifully short day today. I only have to do about 25 minutes of vid up today. Vid uploads. I am fried. I had the longest day. I finished The Punisher. It was awesome. I read some review on Rotten Tomatoes which said that cathartic violence for entertainment is as old as movies and TV themselves, but it seems to be an increasingly untenable position to take for showrunners. And I was like, all I could think was, this is the society we live in, where people can't separate the political issue of violence from just enjoying violence on their entertainment. Like, if the show didn't have cathartic violence, I mean, it probably wouldn't be as good as it is.
Petruchos is angry. The image of Sobek shows the god's will.
So I just think that's a dumb thing to conflate, like,
continue to worship.
How we feel about violence in 2017 with how we enjoy it in our entertainment. I don't think they have anything to do with each other. Which is why we continue to play gratuitously violent video games like this one. Like, is that one day going to be applied to how we look at video games? When video games become more mainstream, and we're gonna have, you know, major reviewers, acclaimed reviewers who do video game reviews, saying things like, you know, violence as cathartic entertainment in video games is as old as video games themselves, but it's increasingly an untenable position. Like, what will video games become if we allow that thinking to apply to them? Like, what will they become? I really want to know. And moreover, of course, what will our movies and TV shows become as a result of that thinking? Just, you know, incredibly tame depictions of, you know, there could never be an anti-hero who is bent on revenge and murder. There always just has to be someone who neutralizes the situation. Like, the next thing we're gonna see is a black or a Hispanic Batman who mainly goes after neo-Nazis and alt-right 4chan posters who make terrorist threats on the poll board. Like, everything will become political.
Did you see his eyes?
And I'm not sure I want that. Sometimes I really just want to watch a guy who's been through a lot of bad shit just kill all the men who are responsible for his misery. You know? I like that. And the show does get into the theme of PTSD and finding vindication for our veterans. And, you know, the violence that Frank Castle participates in, it's not something that brings him peace. It's a feeling like the war never left him. And now that he has, you know, scores to settle, instead of going about it in a legal way, he just goes about it like a Marine would. And he hunts down his enemies. And then at the end, spoiler alert, you can skip ahead probably like a minute. At the end, you know, he's sitting in a support group for PTSD people going through PTSD, and says that the worst part about leaving the war was the silence, and how people that go through PTSD are dealing with that silence and learning how to reintegrate into society, and that he wants to do that, that he wants to find that peace. And that's admirable. That's an admirable end message to all the gratuitous violence of the season. It's not just... The lesson isn't merely, you know, enjoy yourself, this is going to be a bloodbath, you know. Sorry for stammering there. It's that, you know, people that have these violent tendencies oftentimes have really deep-seated issues that they're going through, that they're dealing with. So yeah, you have fun, you get to have fun with all the violence, and then at the end the show tells you that violence is not the answer. Like, enjoy it while you can, but violence is not the answer. It's a good political message. It's not this bullshit like encouraging people to seek out violence to find release for their issues. Like, don't mix it up, you know? Don't mix up the entertainment factor with the actual messages of the show. I mean, like, I really wonder if some of these critics even watched it through all the way, because one of the other main complaints about the show is that it was too long. The season was too long. I feel like they watch enough to get something snappy for their review, something that will go up on their blurb on Rotten Tomatoes, and then they write the review and leave it at that. You know, I made my point. And I feel like a lot of times too, when certain critics start talking crap on the show, a lot of other critics follow suit. But that, I don't know, that could just be my bias, because I really like the show. I'm part of the 94% of the audience that really enjoyed the show. But I mean, come on, 94% of your average, everyday Netflix viewer loved that show. %61% of these highfalutin critics. Man, I really miss soda. So I'm thinking about going on a... Oh yeah, the video game, right. What you're watching. I'm doing an objective at a location to pass the time. It doesn't matter. Thinking about going on a teetotaling jam. Sorry, I'm short on words today. Cutting out caffeine, alcohol, nicotine, marijuana, all that stuff. It's great timing that I'm cutting out the pot because it's going recreationally legal on the 1st of January here in California. But yeah, none of that, no more of that. And by the way, in case you were wondering, I have been a little drunk, as I have made very clear in a couple of these videos, but I've never been under the influence of anything else. I don't think that I can be myself when I'm stoned anyway. It's really hard. I turn into someone else when I'm stoned. Alcohol just kind of like amplifies my personality. But I don't know. I deal with depression, and I'm always, you know, I'm always looking for advice on that and looking to help others who are going through that. And I just think that substances don't help that at all, you know? They really don't. They offer temporary escapes, and they certainly feel good. They, you know, a lot of times the cravings are a psychological desire to become numb, you know, to have a fun time, to not, you know, worry so much, to not let the boredom set in. But you gotta find other ways, you know? You really do. You gotta be drug-free and find other ways to deal with your problems. So this is a hyper-political episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. It's basically like a Tim Sterling with like video game as the backdrop type video. Really, well, I just rant about my political views. I'll see you in the next one.